November 18, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like. See right there. This is how I drew it up. It looked like there was a pre-market spike and then a recovery, and it looked like it was kind of in a trading range here. Then there was a rally shortly after the open, a sell-off, another consolidation, kind of a trading range here. I couldn't quite tell if this is the trading range or the highs were here and maybe the lows were down here. Then it was kind of like a bounce and into the close. There was no economic data today that came out to really move the markets, and overall the volume and volatility were kind of low. There was these big moves, but unfortunately I wasn't able to find a entry, so I wasn't able to ride up these big legs, which is kind of unfortunate. I did take one trade today, and it was a winner, and that's pretty much it. It was kind of slow and quiet today. So in the pre-market, looked like Sunday night open, it just rallied up, hit a consolidation, sold off, broke, tested the low, came back down, made two legs down. At this point in time, I'm thinking I'm probably going to be in a trading range type of day. Now, I did have the low of my pre-market down here. Then I later adjusted it up to here when I saw kind of more bounces here, and I treated this as a failed breakout. But at the time, it was all the way down here. There's a rally of this green up channel, break, test the high, and another move down. There might have been a trade right here because it looked like there was a one touch, two touch, three touch, a fourth touch breakout and coming back in. It did break the green channel and test the highs. So you could expect if this is the top of the range or a potential resistance area, prices might be coming back down. But this is the pre-market. I don't really trade the pre-market, so neither here nor there. Prices are coming down on this nice green sell-off. Here it bounced, and here I actually thought I saw something, but I didn't want to act on it because it was rather, it's only like 5 minutes into the day. It's a new high. It's a first entry long here, pullback, second entry long. Nothing really here. It is a second entry long, break of the screen down channel, test of the low, but it is kind of coming into the EMA. But the EMA itself isn't very reliable because you can see there's push above, then it comes back to look below, another push above, and now it's back below. So it's a little hard for me to trust anything here. So I just kind of marked it because I saw it. I kind of had a hunch, but it's not worth taking because a hunch really isn't valid, at least for me, because I can't trust my hunches yet. I don't have enough chart time. Prices then continue moving up. It moves up what I think is this orange up channel, has an overshoot, but instead of coming straight back through, it kind of just consolidates right here into this trading range, but there's no clean, clear second entries. Sells off again, and that's where it bounces here. That's where I drew my pre-market lows from initially this red line down here, dotted red line. It kind of dragged it up to here because it looked like it had better confirmations roughly in this area. So I was thinking the pre-market range might be from here to here. Then I was working with another potential range here where the support, actually resistance is up here. The support I kind of had to coincide with the pre-market lows or pre-market prices move. The first entry short, that's all you get. Technically, I have a second entry long here, or you could say new high, first entry long, pullback. This coupled together maybe making a bigger visual second entry long, but it's just a little congested. Doji here, don't really like it. Another doji, so it's just kind of telling me to be, well, pretty much to be patient and stay away. Prices then move up on this green up channel. I'm expecting some kind of rejection off this resistance here. It hits, so I'm watching this carefully now. Breaks through, I'm thinking failed breakout. Also I don't even have a first entry short yet. Now I have a first entry short. It's also a first entry long. This could be first entry short, pullback. It could be setting up for second entry short. Makes a double bottom, but this green candle is actually inside this red one, so no trade yet. Now I have a first entry long, pullback, second entry long. I also have a new low, first entry short, pullback, yet to be confirmed second entry short. If it creates a second entry short, it's going to create a failed second entry long. So I thought there might be a trade here because it is a break of this green up channel, break and test of the high. So everything is dependent on what happens on this next candle. So here you do have a new low, first entry short, second entry short, new high, first entry long, second entry long, failure. Now, this is possibly a failed breakout. This signal bar isn't very good though, and it's followed up by a doji. It could be in the smaller range, so I didn't think it was worth taking any kind of trade. Here, you have a chance now, after you see this one close, to maybe put it one tick below this guy, because this is a 10 tick candle, but I didn't want to take this trade. I think it's a possible trade if you're a little more aggressive, but I wasn't. So I would have gotten filled here, and my stop's way up here. I had to sit through this, and then likely I might have gotten exited out on this one. If not, if I was going for more, let's see, if this is a 5904, 5903, 5902. So yes, if I did enter on this red candle after it closed, I likely would have gotten out with a 1 point scalp. But if I try to go for anything more, it's debatable whether I would have survived. Definitely if you went for 3 points or more, you would have gotten smashed. 2 points is a little iffy. Prices then continue moving. There's a potential trading range here, and it came back. I wasn't really sure if this support could be extended all the way over here because it felt like this is the trading range. Break and another 2 legs down creates a second entry long, but I didn't think there was a trade here. This yellow up channel doesn't exist yet, so it's an almost trade in my eyes because it's a new high. It's a 1 leg down, push back, second leg down. It didn't really bounce off the bottom of the trading range that I have established, so it's a little bit above it. There's no key entry point because this yellow trend channel doesn't exist yet. And if it is in this range here, this isn't telling me to go long yet because first entry long, second entry long. Finally, when this closes, I also thought that there's a potential that I'm in this lower channel. So I could be buying into the highs of this downward channel. So a lot of things just didn't really convince me if there's a trade here. And the EMA itself isn't really holding. But then again, as I mentioned before, the EMA isn't super reliable yet. And it pushes up. So I was looking for a higher low, ideally back to the EMA, but it just keeps going. And so this trade is just negated. It's an almost trade that just never happened. Prices break out of the green up channel, makes one attempt and push up, starts coming back down. So at this point, I do draw this yellow up channel 1 touch, 2 touch, because it looked like it had 1 touch, 2 touch, possibly 3 touches. Whether you counted this as an overshoot or not, you can't neglect the fact that it does look like it's fitting within this yellow up channel. The new high, first entry long, second entry long. This isn't a very good signal bar to go long on, so I wouldn't even thinking of going long. Plus, it's inside bar. By the time this one closes, it just doesn't feel safe because you're near the highs. Maybe you're pushing out of this pre-market range, and you could be coming back in. So it's a little ambiguous. Prices then kind of move up. These are really small candles side by side, though. Just nothing really clean to trade. Breaks out, pushes back up. So I counted this as 1 touch, 2 touch, close enough third touch, but still no setup. This is a confirmed setup. And here I saw this new high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. I called this also an almost trade because it's a bounce off this yellow up channel support, which is good. Signal bar is a little neutral though, because it's green, but it's kind of in the middle. And I'm pushing against the high of day. This dotted blue line is the most high of this current trading day. And it's already pressing toward the high. So this isn't a very enticing trade. Plus, I'm potentially at the top of this smaller consolidation trading range. So for something like this, I just thought it's better to wait for a higher low confirmation. You don't really get the higher low. And if you do get a higher low at this point, it feels too far away now. Prices move back. It looks like it kind of bounces off the EMA again. So EMA is acting as a pretty decent support now. Break of this yellow up channel. So I'm expecting a test of the high, which has been achieved here now. But it keeps going. Nothing I particularly like. So it comes back first entry long, and now it breaks through. You have 2 dojis in a row, 1, 2. It's not very safe feeling. Breaks out of the green down channel. This green down channel doesn't fit the nicest. It kind of fits the top, but not the bottom too well. Bounces. So I do draw this thinking I might be starting into a bigger consolidation trading range. So I found the bottom support here. I found a bottom support. You have a new low. It's a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Almost looks like it's 2 measured legs all the way up. And I thought this is actually a possible trade because EMA is holding resistance. Previously it was holding support, but it's holding resistance. It did have a small breakthrough here, and now it's pushing back down. a decent signal bar, and the signal bar itself is only 5 ticks of risk. Green down channel has tested, broke the low. It could be making 1 attempt up, 2 attempts up, and then a second measured move coming down. So I actually had this a little bit higher here, and I drew a second one a little bit later, but I adjusted it. I adjusted it a little bit later as more price action formed, so I'm going to put it back where it was before. But I thought, okay, this could be start of another leg down, but I didn't take it though. I thought it was a possible trade, but it did set up for my next trade. So it comes down, it hits this. It looks like it's just kind of bouncing off this clear support now. Another one. What I liked about this is, okay, so it's new high, it's a first entry long pullback. It's about to create a second entry long. It's hidden second entry long. It's very tiny. The way I saw it was, it's a new high, pushes down, it closes here, technically opens here, pushes all the way up, comes back down, and then closes higher than when opened. So that's the first entry long on this candle. Then this is where it closed. This is where it opened. It pushed up first, or it could have pushed down first. Nevertheless, it did go first entry long pullback. It's creating a second entry long here because when it closed here, it opens here, does a bunch of things, and closes higher. So it's a really tiny first entry long pullback, second entry long. But that's not really the thing I was looking at. I took that into consideration, but what I was looking at is there's a multiple test here. I also like that this is a small 5-tick candle. This was a 5-tick candle as well. I'm thinking on the bottom of the range, there's enough room to push up to get a 1-point scalp. It tried 3 times to break below this, well, broke below this blue line, but it tried 3 times to break below this 59.1675. So I thought, okay, there's enough room before it hits the EMA of 2 points. I'm only looking for 1. I enter. I enter 1 tick above, and almost immediately it flashes up and fills my order, which was really awesome. Then I move my stop from this triple bottom to 1 tick above, and it pushes up. I was thinking I should have just taken the whole position off because I'm not sure about the strength of this EMA. It could be coming into play. So in hindsight, I think I should have just taken the whole position off, had no runner, because to expect kind of a runner to really pay out is a little bit reaching because it's just very slow, ambiguous trading right now. Plus, you do think that the high of this yellow up channel wants to be tested, but it's kind of far from it now because this price action has been very slow. So in hindsight, I think I should have just taken the whole position off, but I got stopped out in my runner. And as you can see, if I didn't get stopped out here and I kept it below this triple bottom, just to see if I could give it more breathing room, I definitely would have gotten stopped out here. So hindsight's 2020, but I do think I would have played it differently. I would have just taken the whole position off. The price will continue moving. It creates a triple test here. It goes break, 1 attempt up, push down, second attempt up, third attempt up. It's clearly in a trading range, and I thought this is an almost trade. The reason I thought it was almost trade is it's a possible top of the range, which is good because you're looking to go short. Signal bar did close bearish, but it is a little neutral, and it's inside to this doji. And I just don't really like the doji being so immediately previous to this. So it's also small to risk. It's only 5 ticks. So you can see 1.25 points. I just didn't really feel that confident. Plus, it was a break of the screen and never tested the high. So it could oscillate a little bit more and then push and test the high. So it's just a couple of things rolling in my mind. I just didn't trust going short. Prices chop around, it kind of goes back down, breaks out the bottom. I thought this was the trading range at the time. It kind of jumps up and then moves and tests this high. So I drew this second resistance line because I thought this could be actually the bigger range, but we'll see how things play out. The new low, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short after all these, after this broke down below all these. But as you can see, I'm not thinking going short. I may be considering going short. Definitely thinking going short, but by the time this third candle forms, it just doesn't look very safe anymore. It's just too much indecision. By the time this flushes down, then you're not thinking of going short anymore. This ideally could have been a lower high, but it's a wrong colored candle. It's above the EMA. And it looks like if you went in on it, you would have gotten, I don't know if you would have gotten stopped out, but it would have been very noisy. The prices chop around, breaks out the low side. I don't see any clean entries. You have a new low. It's a first entry short, which up. Now there's a second entry short here that's about to form. I was watching this in real time, but I wasn't really thinking it's a trade. I thought it was almost trade because The trouble I'm having is I'm not sure if this is the resistance. This could be the top of the trading range, or it could potentially be this. You do have a clear breakout here now. Nothing feels safe right here, especially the follow-up trigger bar, which is doji. So I'm definitely not going to be in this trade. Then you have this signal bar, which is like bigger. Not this signal bar. This candle is bigger than this one, so it's just looking like it's starting to wedge out. Another inside bar. This is now, if you were in a trade, you'd be sitting through this noise. If I was thinking of taking a trade here, I would be hesitant. Here, I definitely would just not want to take the trade. This confirms, like, yeah, that's not a good idea to take a trade. This is like, thank goodness I didn't take that trade. And then I'd just be watching and just rooting whoever's in the trade, rooting them on. Prices then come down, breaks through. Technically, you have a new high, first entry long, second entry long, count resets. You have a first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here. There's no other real key entry point. I did see this as 2 legs down, 1 leg down, 2 attempts up, another leg down. It pretty much made the measure move here, but I'm not sure what's going on here. It's a break of this orange down channel, tests the low, and now it's just kind of oscillating. This is, potentially first entry long, second entry long, potentially a reversal or correction coming up, but I need a higher low confirmation. And you kind of don't really get any higher low. You just kind of move into this consolidation pattern, and it's just noisy here now. It starts moving up, pushes up. You actually have a new low here. It's a first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short formed right here, but it's not a clean setup. I'm expecting another test of this green break. So this second entry short is counter trend to that. But you could think, okay, well, maybe I'm looking first entry short, second entry short failure. Perhaps, but I would need the EMA to have some kind of support bounce confirmation. You kind of don't get that. You do have a failed second entry short here. You low first entry short, second entry short failure, but it just looks noisy, not a very inviting looking setup. Prices then kind of chop. It kind of moves sideways. You do have a second entry long here, but it's noisy. You got a doji here. Prices just kind of keep chopping sideways. You have 2 legs down. This isn't very encouraging for any kind of setup. You have this spike, not a spike, but you have this weird disjoint. Closes here, and then you see it opens here, and it fills that gap, and it kind of continues down. And you get another doji. And then it's kind of moving into the last 10 minutes, which is just risky to trade because price action doesn't really quite follow as clean and organized as that, as usual. So kind of how I saw the charts today. It was a little slow today for sure. Volume was low. I was able to get one trade out. And yeah, even that one trade, it was a little more aggressive. And hopefully, kind of the rest of the week, something better comes up. So hopefully that was helpful.